we try to compile a panel that is associated with the interest that they kind of have and what they've kind of expressed in terms of what they want to do and where they want to spend their futures. And so that's kind of how we picked all of you guys out. And so we thank you again for coming out and sharing time with us. Let's give it to them one more time, guys. Yep. All right. So first thing I want to do is I want to introduce our panelists, and I'm going to kind of go around and I want to let them introduce themselves to you.
I'm from right here. Ray Kelmadisek, go by Ray. I am a master's prepared nurse. I have a master's in nursing, business management, leadership, and administration. And I currently, I've been a nurse for over 12 years.
My name is Jamil Shabazz. I have a BS in Information Systems. I hold 16 Microsoft certifications. I'm also an entrepreneur. I own my own computer business, and I am IT support for Eli Lilly.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Shank, and I have a BS in secondary education. I am a retired teacher. I taught 28 years, 15 at where I retired from, Ben Davis High School, and 13 in IPS School 47, which is now the Key School. And I was Warren's teacher during that time at Ben Davis High School. And now I'm embarking on a new career, and that is I am a Zumba / nutritionist, Zumba instructor / nutritionist. And yes, and I'm still about helping you guys and young adults, not kids, young adults, achieve your lifetime goals, and also being able to become lifelong learners. That's my goal, and still giving back even though I'm not in the classroom.
Hello everyone, I'm excited to be here. It seems like yesterday that I was sitting where you were in your shoes. My name is Antoine Latour, and I'm an emergency medicine physician in the Wishart Emergency Department, one of the full-time attending physicians there. I have been a physician for 6 years now, since the start of my 7th year. And I specifically worked with the Indiana University School of Medicine as an assistant professor of clinical emergency medicine.
I have a very diverse background. I've got a background in business. I have a background and am a substitute teacher for the Archdiocese of Indianapolis. I am a notary public for the state of Indiana, and I too am a business owner. My company is Right Business Solutions Group. It is a consulting company. We focus primarily on human resource components. We just turned 8 years old.
I think most of you know me. My name is Steve Dowling. I have a master's in counseling and guidance, so I'm actually qualified to be a counselor, but most of my experience has come through athletics, and I'll share a little bit of experience with you in terms of, because I know some of you talked about being athletes, but my position actually is athletic director, but I would like to just share some thoughts with you if you have an interest in that area.
Ms. Modisek, I'll start with you. And you mentioned that you are an MSN. Tell us a little bit about the difference between being, say, an MSN, an RN, and LPN. What are those ranges? What is the differences there?
Well, as far as healthcare goes, when most people think of nurse, they think of working on the floor nurse. An LPN is a licensed practical nurse. It's a diploma program. You complete a course of study that's less than a year, and you receive a diploma certificate of appreciation, usually a local college. And our RN is a registered nurse, and you have to complete, you can now complete an associate's degree for a minimum to become a registered nurse, and then it goes to baccalaureate level and master's level. And with each level that you obtain, you open up different opportunities. And most hospitals now are going for what they call magnum status, and what that means is they're requiring all nurses to have at least a bachelor's degree in that field of nursing so that they can achieve those goals. So there's so many opportunities in the field of nursing beyond working on the floor. And I currently work in regulatory reporting, which has nothing to do with floor nursing, actually. You know, I started at a very young age. I graduated from high school early, and I knew I wanted to go into the field of nursing. So actually, I started at 18. I went to college, and that's where I started my process, and I continued to excel. But I worked my way through college. I paid for it. I had a full-time job, and I maintained my job in order to pay for my education. To complete my bachelor's and my master's degree, education costs are rising. So you continue to work and you continue to put that in there, knowing that you will have a gain on the other side. It just opens up different windows.
And was there any, did you research, did you look into your field beforehand and say, hey, this is where I want to go? How did you make that decision that you wanted to get that extra piece of education, that MSN over, say, what you had previously?
Well, of course, I am a researcher. I'm a planner by nature, because I believe you have to have a plan. If you do not have a plan, you're destined to fail. So when it's looked into different colleges, what is the cost? What is the benefit? How long will it take me to complete it? Is it feasible? What is the best way for me to go about reaching this goal? Because this is what I want to make. I know this is how much money I want to make. So how do I get there? And what steps do I need to take in order to reach that plateau? You can do anything you set your mind to. You can do anything. You just have to have a plan and be steadfast. Don't give up. I'm not going to say it was easy, because it wasn't always easy maintaining your lifestyle while continuing to go to school and achieve those goals.
Tell us a little bit about your preparation process for how you got into that field. Was that something you always wanted to do, or did it come about? How did it come about that you started working in there?
Well, it's quite interesting. I like to say when I was about 20 years old, I took a job in a warehouse packaging CD-ROMs. I'm telling myself now about 1992, 1991, 92. And I was just fascinated, like CD-ROM, what's this CD-ROM? And one of my coworkers said, man, you can put a whole encyclopedia on a CD-ROM. I was so fascinated, because I'm used to my mom and dad's shelf from A to Z, a whole bookshelf. I'm like, wow. And that's what took it right there. I said, you know what, I want to know about this technology. And it just took that curiosity in me, because I went to college originally for communications. I wanted to be on radio and news and broadcasting. But when I found out about this whole CD-ROM incident, that I did a complete shift of my education, and I got interested in computers. Went to a lot of computer shows, didn't know that much about it, just wanted to find out what the monitor, the processor, and investigated and researched. And I built a computer, blew it up. Almost caught my house on fire, but that's okay. The end result is, I'm here today, and sometimes you have to crawl before you walk, and that was my opening door, I guess.
So, we want to know more about how you almost blew the house up, but we'll digress. We'll let you tell them that on their own. But tell us a little bit about what you do in IT. What are the components of your field?
Oh, wow. I am like, I'm sure my counterpart down the end, I'm like Cordell Stewart of computers, Slash. I mean, I pretty much design websites, I fix computers, I network them, I set up servers, I can make a machine talk from here to Japan, to China, to Asia, to around the globe. I basically know a little bit of everything to know a lot of something, So that is basically what I do. I really can't put one particular, I do this. No, I like to know it all. So that way I can be diverse when I'm trying to sell myself or my company to someone else.
So out of all the plethora of things that you do in your field, what's your favorite and why?
My favorite would have to be, and I'm sure a few folks in this room can attest, is actually repair and networking. That is because technology is changing daily. And so when you get a chance to repair a computer or look into a system, you're seeing, okay, new motherboards, you're seeing new hard drives, you're seeing new memory, you're seeing new layout, new architecture, new structure. And so all that does is spark me to want to go out and research about that piece of equipment so I can know more about it.
So, you can tell definitely that he is the tech person, right? Because he didn't use some words, and I'm sitting there, motherboards? Okay, wait a minute. I think I've read that in the magazine. Now, tell us, are there any misconceptions probably about what you do? What do you think they are?
Yes, I would have to say that a lot of people, or a lot of customers, would say, you know, you get a call 3 o'clock. I've had this happen 3 o'clock in the morning, and my computer went down. I'm like, well, you know, it is 3 o'clock. You think maybe we can talk about this at 8:30 or even 6:30 on a good morning? You know, a lot of what I'm saying is a lot of people expect you to be computer on call 24/7. And that happens a lot, and basically I'm a victim of my own. I have my cell phone number on my business card, so I'm trying to make myself available, but not at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, the thing about it is, I mean, everyone in this room either has some type of smartphone, cell phone, of some sort that they use daily, if not hourly or to the minute. And you have to understand, everything that we do here, everything that we use, it's a computer. Everything, from your alarm clock, to the television, to your cable, to whatever you're doing. And understand that it's that involved in your life. And once you understand what you have in front of you, then that'll spark you, that's your interest right there. And understand how it works. Now, I'm not sitting saying that computers is for everyone, but you have to understand and find your niche. And go with it. Go with your gut. Because that is exactly how you're going to learn.
So now, saying that computers are everywhere and everybody's using the smartphones, the career outlook then in your field must be positive.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, normally when I'm working with, for example, I'll give you some billing examples. When I go out to do server work, I charge $175 an hour. An hour. To call me on the phone to talk about your problem is a $50 call, and that's a 15-minute minimum. So you can understand how lucrative it can be just from a few phone calls a day.
I was in 3rd grade and I lived in Fort City, Pennsylvania, which was a little bitty town outside of Pittsburgh. And I would always gather all my friends on the porch, and I was the teacher. I love teaching. Actually, it's just a gift. I know it's a gift from God, because I've been doing that ever since. And it's not because I've made so much money. This area of my profession, no, it's not a lot of money, but each and every person that's up here on this panel had to have had a teacher of some kind. So my profession, I believe I can hold it up real high. Even though my money was way down here, I had to love what I did, and I'm still doing it. As I said, I came out of the classroom early. I retired early because people look at me and they go, retired? And I felt like that I could do a little bit more outside the classroom because everything is so political now. It's not about educating you guys anymore, if you want to be perfectly honest. And I was the honest teacher. Lauren will tell you, I left my door open and I talked really loud so everybody would hear me. And I wasn't giving grades. You had to earn your grades. But I just believe that this profession, I'll put it up there with the best because we are, I tell everybody, I'm y'all's mama and your daddy, away from home. No matter what color you are, purple, pink, blue, all my students knew that. Even people who didn't even know me, who didn't have me in class, knew Miss Shank because I took care of them when you were walking in that hallway. So things have changed tremendously. And I know those of you who are in school now, you know that. You know that for a fact. My favorite aspect of teaching, you guys, was that I was able to touch many lives in many, many ways. And there were so many. I am a talker, but I was a listener, a good listener. I grew up with, I have 7 brothers, and I was the only girl. So I barred none. I would get you. okay? But I loved you. I loved all my students as if they were mine. I only have one son, but I loved all of my kids. And so that aspect, best thing for me was what I got from it. Even if I only reached one student, one kid a year, that was that one who I lost. I saw many. When I taught at 47, which is now the Key School on White River Parkway, I saw many young, like we had 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. They were 7th graders who were killed. I went to many of funerals, and many of the kids had to bring their, they dealt drugs, and they had to bring that money to school to keep so that they would be able to give it back to their parents when the drug dealer or whoever they were working for. And this is no lie. I really need to write a book. So it's those kinds of things that it's just close. I have like thousands of kids, and I tell everybody. So what it brings back to when I'm walking down the street, or if I'm in the store, somebody, Miss Shank, hey, I'm like, hey girl, what's your name? What be your name? I can remember the face, but I can't sometimes, put a name there. But that's what is just close and dear to my heart.
What are some of the biggest challenges to their success that you've seen?
Right now, it's the lack of them being dedicated and willing to fight the fight, so to speak, come to school. When I used to say that my son had no choice, he had to be up at school. And they would look at me like, he goes to school every day? Yeah, unless he's sick. So now it's like so much so that if you come, and if you just come occasionally, we had to give you guys a D as passing. And I was one of those teachers, and that was part of the reason that I retired, because I felt like I could do a little bit more outside where my hands weren't tied with the legislation and all this other stuff. But there's no way I was giving anything, any D's or any of that. If your body wasn't there to earn the grade, you weren't going to get it. So that kind of thing, like now, those are things that are hindering our young people. And then you guys coming in and expecting this. I mean, it's not just necessarily you all sitting in here, but overall, that they expected us as an educator, as a teacher, to give them. And I was the one to say, I'm not giving, what page is the answer on, Ms. Shank? Read it for yourself. Find it. Bring your book up here. I'll, help you that way. But so these are some issues, and everything is about money. And you guys are a number, unfortunately. So you have to really, really be there in school and go after and know what you want to do and go after it.
So to follow up on that, Ms. Shank, with most of them either being in high school now or freshly out, what should they be doing right now to prepare themselves for their future?
If they're in high school, because it should have started way back, that's another one of our problems. We were telling these kids that they need to do A, B, C, D, and it should have started way back in grade school. And I know for me, because my emphasis was at first was English, so I wrote all the time, and then I changed to fashion design, and so that's what I ended up getting my degree in. But you have to take those courses, you got to take those classes that are going to steer you in the direction of what you're interested in, and make good grades. I mean, you got to work hard. You can't expect you can't say, well, I'm this great athlete and I'm gonna, somebody's gonna draft me anymore. You have got to have the grades. My son graduated. He's the #1 sprinter at UNC Charlotte, and he graduated with the academic honors. And we stressed to him, he went to North Central, and we told him all the time, his freshman year was horrible, horrible. But you have to work. It's not anymore that you are this great athlete and all of a sudden you're going to get scooped up and they're going to put you, because there's like thousands, so to speak, great athletes. So you've got to work hard. You've got to get your grades. And so if you're out of school now, you should have already been, that plan should have been in place. You should now be, registering for somebody's school, or if you have to work, and then saving that money to go to whatever institution, whether it be a 2-year or 4-year, because everybody's not cut out for a 4-year institution.
So when you hear the kids say stuff like, "Oh, school is boring, it's too hard, I don't want to do it," how do you respond to that?
I'm a talker, and so in my classroom, every day was a new day. I would tell them, this is my runway, because you all heard me say I did fashion design. So every day it was a new day, one of those. Even when I taught nutrition classes to the athletes, it was never a boring day, but I would tell them, you've got to put you've got to put something in it in order to get something out of it. So if you come to school and you're laying down and you're sleeping because you done stayed up all night on that phone or computer or playing your games, then I can't make you learn, but I can make an environment so that it's fun. And a lot of people say, why are you making it fun? Why are you? Because I would put myself in your position, and I would say, remember when I was in school and thought about the teachers that were just so, oh my God. So I would try to do that and give you real life experiences, but you've also got to put something in it. You can't expect, someone to just take your hand and lead you along the way and that type of thing.
All right, thank you, Ms. Shank. Let's hear from Ms. Shank. Thank you. All right, Dr. LaFleur, welcome. So we have to start out with, why did you choose to become a doctor? And in addition to that, why did you choose your current practice area, the emergency room?
I'm sorry.
So when I finished college in 1999, actually they know that I wanted to be a physician. I was working actually at a hospital, a small rural hospital in Illinois, and working as a lab tech. I thought maybe I was going to be a teacher or a researcher, a biology teacher or a researcher, and I already had the background in science by taking many biology and chemistry courses. But it was while I was working at the hospital that a physician came over to the lab and told me that a lot of his patients, he was a primary care physician, and he said a lot of his patients that came to clinic had been talking about me, and so he wanted to come over to the lab and meet the black guy in the lab. It was a predominantly Caucasian hospital, and so he came over and met me, and he said, our patients are always talking about you, and you seem like you have that it factor, you have what it takes. Have you ever thought about being a doctor? And I said, well, not really. He said, well, you should, because the patients love you, and I don't know what you're doing with them, but they're always talking about you. And I said, okay. So he became my mentor, and I had already finished undergraduate at that time, so I applied to a post-baccalaureate program so that I could get back into academics. And what I discovered in the midst of applying to this post-baccalaureate program through volunteer experiences, that I love taking care of patients. And it was just the opportunity to change their life with whatever. And I knew my purpose in life was ministry, which is simply to serve other people. And so that's one of the main things that led me to being a doctor, specifically to emergency medicine. I saw my family in emergency medicine. We are the safety net for our healthcare mess, a very broken system. And so in emergency medicine, you take care of everything: gunshot wounds, strokes, heart attacks, stab wounds, chest, blood clots in the lungs, whatever, and diabetes. And when I see patients in the emergency department, specifically the county ER, take care of people that look like me, that come from underserved environments, and I came from an educationally and economically underserved environment, and I just see people that act like my family members. When I take care of the alcoholic, I'm reminded of my mother, who is a current struggling alcoholic, and so I can relate to them and show compassion. When I take care of that gunshot wound, I see my younger brother, who is now passed away, but I can show compassion and give them advice on the right way to go. And when I see that person that's struggling with drugs, I see my uncle. When I see that young 25-year-old that's obese, struggling with hypertension, I see my sister. So I can identify with these people. One of the other reasons why I chose emergency medicine, I like to make quick decisions on undifferentiated patients, and seeing them at their most vulnerable state and hearing things and seeing things that only fiction novel authors dream to write about. I mean, just some crazy things. Other things, I just enjoy being a jack of all trades. Some people will call it a master of nothing, but I wanted to just know how to do everything.
I'm glad you actually brought that up, because that goes into one of our next questions. How do you find it? How are you able to relate and connect with the patients that come before you on a regular basis?
Well, I just draw from my personal experiences from growing up in my childhood. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, in the hood, and all my family is still there, so it's, you know, it's just an environment that I've never forgotten. And so that's probably the main way that I'm able to relate to them.
Talk to us a little bit about the educational process of becoming a doctor. How does one attain that?
So, first thing, it's a long road. Probably the biggest advice that I can give is throw away the clock. You have to understand the concept of delayed gratification. It takes a minimum of 11 years, so 4 years of undergraduate, 4 years in medical school, and then 3 years of your residency training just to do the bare minimum in terms of family practice or pediatrics. Now, if you want to specialize in something else, then it's more than 11 years. The process, so you have to take a medical college admissions test to get into medical school. And to prepare for that, you take courses through your undergraduate years that will create a baseline knowledge, such as physics, organic, or organic chemistry, biology, all of your advanced biology courses. Beyond undergraduate courses, you have to get involved in enrichment programs, summer programs. You have to network. You have to find a mentor, a minority mentor as well as a non-minority mentor that can give you advice throughout the entire process.
The workload is not easy. How did you overcome both the time process and the workload? How did you do it?
Yeah, that was tough. So I think probably the biggest thing is learning how to be a self-directed lifelong learner and having disciplined study habits. Someone at some point in my life taught me time management skills. And you just have to understand that you can't do what everyone else is doing and spend hours. I mean, your life, your full-time job is studying. And I don't mean 2 or 3 hours. You spend 8 to 10 hours a day studying. That's your life. How did I overcome it? Early on, before I really found the gratifying aspects of being a doctor, I had the opportunity probably in 2000, of going to Florida. It's my first time out of Chicago. And one of my friends took me to a really nice neighborhood. And I had never seen just big homes that looked beautiful. And I was like, wow, this is how people actually live. And I took pictures and I put that up in my bathroom. I said, you know what, one day I want a home like that. So this was just early on when I was immature. I thought it was all about money and big homes. And I used that as motivation. So early on, you got to find different things to motivate you. It goes beyond money for sure. And you have to find reasons of why you enjoy taking care of patients. So that was early on. And then later on, it was just shadowing other physicians, volunteering, and using those experiences to motivate me to study hard and say, you know, the end at some point is near.
So why did you feel that it was worth all that work, all that commitment? Why was it worth that to go into medicine for you?
Just to make a difference. I mean, you know, I have the best job ever. And just the opportunity to learn about the fragility of life. And it encouraged me to cherish every moment, even minutes, with my own family. It's probably the biggest aspect.
See, all 4 people have said that they have the best jobs. You see how when you love your job, you think it's the greatest in the world. I just wanted to point that out, because he said he had the best job, and I'm sure our remaining 2 panelists will say they have the best jobs too. So it's all about what you love. Miss Lori Wright, as an entrepreneur, someone who has worked with clients all types of all different economic levels, tell me, what is your most memorable client experience and why?
My most memorable client is my very first client. That was the first customer that believed in what my company could do. You know, it's like being a kid in the candy store. There's something really, you know, when you're getting stuff that you want, or that new toy, or that new CD, or that new outfit, you know how it makes you kind of feel all giddy inside? Come on, guys, y'all feel giddy too. Don't play it off. So you get that little tingle, and it's like, yes, 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 I did it. I did it because I did it on my own. I wasn't working for someone else anymore. I was working for me. The money that I generate from my paycheck is now my responsibility, not someone else's. You know, I would love to tell you that, yeah, I could sleep till 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because some days I'm tired and I want to sleep till 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But that's not real life. You know, most days, I'm going to be very honest, I'm up between 5 and 5:30 on a regular. Because the first thing I do when I open my eyes and my feet hit the floor isn't go to the kitchen, it's not going to the bathroom, it's saying thank you to God, because I don't have to be here. And no matter how difficult you think life is, there's always somebody's life who's worse. So that's my praise time. That's my praise time. That's my quiet moment. And I had to develop that quiet moment over a period of years, because as a mother of 5, you don't get a whole lot of quiet time with children. You just don't. But, you know, can I walk around and, you know, I made myself, and it takes discipline. It takes self-discipline. When I go in my office, I'm not in my pajamas. Now, I might be in a sweatsuit. I might be in a pair of shorts and a tank top, but I am not in my pajamas. You know why? Because when I'm in my pajamas, that means I'm not working, I'm at home. When I go in my office, and my office is in my house, that's where creativity happens. That's where I plan my day or my week. That's where I've got to look over whatever we're doing for our customers and make sure that we get every single component correct. So now, you don't get to sleep in late. You want to sleep in late, take a day off. By the way, if you're on your own business, the likelihood that you're going to get paid for that day off isn't going to happen. You off at your own expense. You may not have medical insurance, because medical insurance for small business owners, particularly those of us that don't have 50 plus employees, is almost non-existent. So you have to be creative in how you find ways to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself as a small business owner, nobody else is going to do it for you. There's no magic box that you open or magic pen that you write with that comes up with money or insurance or vacation time, fringe benefits, that 401k. That would be on you.
So many small businesses fail, but yet you've been able to successfully do it for 8 years. What do you think has made yours successful in that time?
Probably not growing too fast. A lot of small businesses, when they start getting their first customers, you know, like Jamil said earlier, you're hungry. You're hungry. You're hungry because you know what? You've got to put food on your table. You are hungry. You are like out knocking on doors, pounding pavement, and sometimes the attraction of money becomes your downfall. You know, it's kind of like that scripture that talks about money being the root of all evil. It's not a bad thing, but when you put too much emphasis on it, it's not a good thing. So you learn to pace yourself. You know, can I carry 5 or 6 customers at a time in the line of work that we do? If it's feasible, then yes. The other important thing that I would say is understanding that the saying, not all business is good business. there's truth to that. If somebody wants, we've gotten calls where people wanted us to compromise not only my business integrity, but my personal integrity. That's not gonna happen. Because, see, integrity is all about your actions, whether someone is watching you or not. My name is on that door. It's my name, company name on that website, or my business cards, or whatever it is. You're not about to ruin that for me, and I'm not going to let you. So I've said no. No, we won't do it. We're sorry, we can't help you. And that's a deal breaker for us. We won't do that.
You were on the committee that helped give the contracts to small businesses. When you're looking at young people that are coming in, or anyone coming in to interview for you, that you're considering hiring or putting in a position, what are some of the things that you're looking for?
Eye contact. Can you look me in the eye when you talk to me? Because if you're doing this, you're not paying attention. A firm handshake, male and female. You don't have to break my hand, but if it feels like a mushy bath towel, your appearance. What I have on today, this is my Friday casual. I'm not old school. So I'm not wearing a dress down to my ankle, and no. Because at my age, and how many kids and grandkids, yeah, I'm all right. But you have to look decent. So, I don't mean to be offensive, but fellas, you couldn't step to me with sagging pants. That's not going to happen.
Tell the truth.
That's automatic.
Tell the truth.
Because that's an invitation for trouble. And I don't need that. And young ladies, if I have to see everything the guy gave you, nope. That's too much. Yeah, I'm just being honest. Because unlike my friend right here, this is pretty much what he looks like in ER. I'm going to people, and my people are going out to clients, and we don't just represent Right Business Solutions Group, we represent the city of Indiana, the state of Indianapolis, the state of Indiana. We represent churches, we represent other not-for-profit organizations, we represent construction companies. Jamil and I have partnered on a project before. We become our clients. So there is a demeanor that you have to have. And when I'm sitting down to make the deal, I don't have time to be looking crazy. I can go natural. That guy gave us hair, it's natural. I don't have to do all the other stuff, and you don't either. But it's got to be combed. Your stuff flying up. No, don't do that. Because you're representing yourself, you're representing other people.
How important is making an impression? And what tips can you give them on always making a good impression?
The first impression you make is always going to be the last impression you leave. You can never take back that first impression. You just can't take it back. So if you walk in, just as she said earlier, if you walk in your classroom and you're unprepared, you know what? Your teacher just saw that. So even though you may come in the next time prepared, they're always going to remember in the back of their mind, oh yeah, that was so-and-so and she didn't have a pencil and paper. That was so-and-so, she didn't bring in her math book. He didn't turn in his homework, and no, the dog didn't chew it that many times. So those first impressions, and things can happen. You can have plenty of time scheduled and something happens. You can't prevent accidents on highways or city streets, but you got to know how to pick up that phone and call somebody or text somebody. Let somebody know something has delayed you. But if you walk in and you're looking a little shaky on that first impression, I guarantee you will get skipped over for the next company.
Okay, let me just first congratulate you kids here because I think it's really, really important. I had opportunity when I was your age, and that's what impacted me the most. I can remember sitting and the information I got. But in answer to your question, I grew up in the inner city too, as you know, and I had 9 brothers and sisters. And for me, a chance, no one in my family above me had the opportunity to go to college. And so education was something my parents talked about all the time, and so it was important for me, like, to try to go as far as I could, or to get an education. And I would say this to you guys. I mean, I believe that everybody here in this room has a God-given talent of something that separates you from everybody else. And it's up to you to figure out what that is and then try to exploit that or be the best that you can at that. And that's what I did. I mean, I had no thoughts, of college at that time. But when the chance came for me too, then I tried to take advantage of it where I could graduate. And so that's why I stayed in school, was to finish school, to get a college degree. And what I was most happy about is nobody went above me, the brothers, the sisters, but everybody behind me had the chance. They either graduated or they went. And so you can be that type of role model for your siblings, your younger brothers and sisters, that type of role model that will encourage them to go and be the best they can. Because I don't stress anyone to be athletes. That's not what this is all about, because that's something far and in between. If you have that type of ability that you can play a sport, trust me, they'll find you. What everyone's sitting here, what all your goal should be, is to be the best student that you can right now. Education is what it's going to be about in terms of your future. And again, I think everybody has an ability, something that they can do that makes it special for them, and then try to do that. I work in a college situation now, and every day I'm dealing with guys, oh, I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a lawyer. But then they tell you that, and then they say, well, dang, I don't like science, or I don't like, well, I mean, that's not a realistic goal, okay? I mean, to be a doctor if you don't like science courses, because that's a big part of it. So again, you have to be honest with yourself. You ain't just not going to happen. I mean, anything good. You know, I don't believe in luck, and I would tell you what luck is hard work running into opportunity, young people. Hard work. That's what luck is. Good things are going to happen the harder you work at something, okay? And so, again, that would be my beginning thought. But I did, and answer your question is, I stayed in because I wanted to graduate from college. I was the first one in my family to graduate from school. Backup plan as always has to be there because, again, you never know what's going to happen. I would never discourage anyone from being a rapper, athlete, or any of those things. But let's not forget about school, okay? Because that's the thing, number one, all right? Because a lot of things can happen in the process of being a singer or athlete, you know, type of injuries where you can't sing or you can't run, jump, or whatever. And if you haven't focused in, I see that every day. I've done this for 30 years in terms of working in a college situation, and I've seen this so many times where people come in and they don't take advantage of their opportunities in school because they went there with a singular purpose of trying to be that rapper or that basketball, football. Then something happened where they get hurt and they haven't prepared themselves academically where they can't finish school.
How important was that college degree that you had when all of that ended?
Okay, and again, that's a great question. For me, you're right. I've had the pinnacle. I have NBA championship ring. I have an NCAA. My high school team was on. I mean, from that level, I've achieved more beyond than what I thought, okay? But for me, what means more to me than anything, any of those athletic accomplishments, was the opportunity to have a degree. Actually, I have 2 degrees from a school. And again, guys, why I would say this is so important, because school was hard for me. School was extremely hard. We learn at different rates, different levels. And something that you could learn by reading that book once, I would have to do it twice or 3 times. But that's what I did because I wanted to finish school. I worked hard. I mean, and I can tell you, walking across, that's the proudest moment that I experienced because how hard. I didn't work any harder playing sports than I did going to school. School was hard for me, but it's something that I realized just as I'm talking to you, and I hope that you have a good panel here, people with different experience, and that's what your goal is, I think, is somewhere just like any of these folks sitting up here in terms of what you want to do with your life, guys. Because you don't get that second time, okay, to do it. I mean, is if you screw it up now, I mean, you're going to have to pay those consequences for any of your actions. So again, athletics was something, I love what it is, but that's not what defined me or you know, the person I am. I'm more proud of just having school, education.
What is the discipline like to be on that level of play? Is that a lot of work in itself?
Well, it is, and again, people, whatever their commitment is, some people are naturally talented athletes. For me, I'll just give you an example. I grew up with a guy, you guys are not going to know him, but I mean, he's the most talented basketball player I knew. George McGinnis was his name. I mean, is his name. Great guy, we grew up. He's a natural athlete. And he didn't play year round. I mean, I played every chance I got, okay? Because that's the only way I would be able to get on the floor with him or compete, is that I had to play every opportunity. So again, like learning athletics, I mean, we're at different levels. LeBron James is better than the young man that plays for the Pacers right now who tries to guard him. And so again, it's just different levels. But again, hard work is a key, and it's something that, you know, again, people it's all about the individual and what their commitment is, whether it's school or athletics. My own position, because nobody was going to outwork me. Nobody was going to outplay me. You know, I mean, it's all about attitude. Nobody's going to tell me what I can and cannot do. And that's the way you kids have to be. I mean, don't let anyone tell you you can't accomplish what you think you can, because it's all about attitude. Okay? And if they like athletics, there are things. I mean, because again, there's coaches, then there's doctors, medical doctors, there's nurses also, there's trainers, there's individuals, academic people, tutors, people who have to prepare these athletes in terms of trying to get them through school, compliance, academic people. So again, you have to figure that out. I mean, there's other things you could do other than being, as myself, an athletic director, coaches, again, so there's a lot of different careers if you have an interest in athletics. But I would say the biggest thing in that field, if you have an interest, you have to have a love of trying to help people to convert their life or change their way of thinking, because you're trying to get them to graduate in athletics. And today, I would tell you, even at Marion University, we just opened up a medical school, and we have an outstanding nursing program over there. But even at this level, it's not a football player or a basketball player over there that doesn't think they're going to be in the NFL or NBA. I mean, and again, so it's just like at IU when I worked there, or Texas Tech, it's a constant job. Okay, you can do this, but let's finish school. Let's get school going, guys.
All right, give it up for Mr. Downey. And let's hear it for all of our panelists.